guys, this is Angelica. Welcome back to A Lot of Bit of It All. This is supposed to be the first check of June. It was supposed to be the cash stuffing. However, this is take 4. Yesterday I was supposed to do this video, and when I went to the bank, I had so much anxiety about the nasty ass dollar bills they gave me. I switched out some dollar bills that I had in my other binders and ended up doing a small savings challenge binder. This is the one I said I would do last time. And so this is what I did, in the video last night. I kind of just went through this with you guys, selected a couple of the new minis I was going to end up doing. And so we set that up from the binder, in the binder from the RAEmarkable Dollar. That was yesterday. So that was supposed to be the first cash stuffing video. Didn't go as planned. The second one was later on today after I got back from the bank. I was recording the video, and as I was recording, all of my numbers were off. I was confusing myself. My documentation was confusing. Something was off and I could not figure it out. So the video was a disaster. It was a shit show. It was messy. But I was like, you know what? This is a day in the life of, this is real Angelica every single day, if you can imagine. I had an intern this year, and she would like hand me my coffee cup. Like, here you go, Angelica, you forgot this. You know, like she came to know me so well, but it was just a wreck. It was, it was good, but I mean, you got to see the real me, but it was just too much for me. I couldn't even wrap my mind around it. So what I did was I went through all of the binders I just stuffed, unstuffed them so I could redo this janky budget because I don't know what was wrong with it. And so I redid that. So then I went to record for the third time, the second time today, but trial number 3. And the neighbors across the street, their wood chipper truck had just shown up. So that was going in the background and I had to postpone that. So it's about 35 minutes later. I hope that this video goes a lot more smoothly than the first one, than the first 3 did. But let's go ahead and get started. So I just want to start off by saying, so I'm new to this journey, right? Again, I should say this is my second, third attempt. I just started back a couple months ago. And I still haven't quite gotten it down. I think I'm about 90% there, but I keep switching things up every week, every other week, every paycheck. Just because I keep learning more and more about what works and doesn't work for me. So I keep tweaking things, which is totally fine by me because I'd rather it work. And I don't mind changing things up online on my documents or within my notes. I handwrite everything anyway, so I really don't care about that stuff. So what I do care about is wrapping my mind around my finances because that's what I need to do, right? I think in the short term, this has helped me, or I hope that it helps me too as well, continue to help me, I should say. This has helped tremendously with my spending, right? I'm not shopping as much. I'm watching what goes out. I'm watching really closely what comes in. I'm accounting for everything versus, before in prior months, I would just swipe, right? I love shopping. I love getting things for other people. I love surprising people at work with donuts or, whatever it might be. I just spent because I could, or I thought I could, right? The money was there kind of, but then I would put it on my card and it really wasn't there, right? And so anyways, I'm not a zero-based budgeter yet. Like I said, I'm still getting the hang of things, but things are going okay so far. Pretty close to it, but not quite there yet. I bring home a pretty standard check, bi-weekly pay. I'm a salaried employee through a school district, and so that paycheck is consistent. No matter what, it's always there. It's always pretty solid in terms of like the amount. It might fluctuate a couple bucks, especially when union dues are over, or whatever might disappear or tack on. It's only ever by a few dollars, so it's pretty spot on and pretty predictable every time. So that is really helpful, right? So I depend on that bi-weekly pay, and that's what I base my budget off of because I do have supplemental income. I do private practice on the side, but that depends on how many clients I have for the week, how many cancel, how many I, are on summer vacation or go on vacation or cancel the last minute, whatever. I might have to switch their schedule around, and depending on when I do the billing or send out for insurance or get reimbursed or anything like that, that will then change pay, right? And so I don't want to depend on that money from check to check. What I do is I rely on it. Like, I know that it's going to be coming. So if something in my mind is planned for the future, I know, oh yeah, that money will be there in a couple of weeks, or oh yeah, I should have enough, right? And so I do think that in the back of my mind, but excuse me, overall, I don't budget that into all of this. What I do is kind of add on to things or use it for extra stuff, extra debt, an extra payment somewhere. And I try not to be too, I guess, focused on it, because I don't want to get frustrated when that is not so consistent as this is, my day-to-day for my full-time job, right? That I know I can rely on. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It is what it is. Whereas the other stuff, I knew if I depended on it and it wasn't there, I would lose my mind. I wouldn't know what to do, right? And so I kind of keep that separate from my full-time job as a school social worker. So, yeah. And so I do include my bills. I don't include my credit card bills. I don't include all utilities, although I did just make a utilities envelope, but I don't know if that's going to work for me. I just know that those bills are automatically deducted, and I know that money is there for that already. And I don't know. I don't know about cash stuffing that. I included it because I want to give it a shot, but I'm not sure if that's going to work for me or not, just with how my brain works sometimes. But so I brought home, what did I bring home this time? This paycheck, I brought home $13.75 from the bank. The other half of this already goes directly from my pay to a high yield savings account biweekly. And then in addition to that, I have deductions for my retirement funds. Then I have another one that comes out of my checking. And I also have my HSA that is deducted every check as well, and health insurance. So that money, I don't even add to my budget at all. That's just gone, right? And so that is invisible. And yeah, and that's about it. That's about what you're gonna get for my pay. Like, it is what it is. It's pretty standard. This will fluctuate every week, only because, like I said, I do leave money in there in my account for bills and things like that get automatically deducted, which all of these things, mostly for the most part, the subscriptions will not get automatically deducted, but I don't know why in my mind I'm separating utilities and like TV subscriptions or things like that. I haven't quite figured that out, but these are the two binders that I use for budgeting. I originally started off with a half letter, but I quickly realized that the half letter was too narrow for me. Not that I write large, but I feel like when I started getting into fountain pens, I don't know why, I could have just used another pen, right? But when I started getting into fountain pens, I was like, oh, these pages aren't wide enough for me to write. This pen is too bold. I need extra fine, or, I need bigger paper. And I really do like the A5 because I use an A5 rings for the academic school year for my work planner. So I was like, all right, so I do have A5 paper in here. I also have half letter, but I prefer the A5 size. And then for summertime right now, I'm using discs. But so this is the original finance notebook binder that I started with. And then I saw that Desiree, I think it's Happy to Plan with Desiree, uses a full-size letter one. And so I was like, oh, you know what, let me give that a shot. I make my own sheets anyway, so it's easy to print out and things like that. So I use both. And I think part of that is because it separates things for me a little bit and allows me to visually like spread things out. And I guess it helps me compartmentalize like different areas, if that makes sense. And then I put it all together, and that's just how I process things and how it all becomes one. For the 2 weeks that I'm organizing it for. I think the other half is I like planners, and I have a a lot of stationery stuff, and I like to use it, and I like to play with it, and I like to decorate and change things out. So I figured, why not? You can see, you know, beautiful rings from cloth and paper, and yeah, I just like all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with the finance stuff though, with the budget stuff. I just have a few binders here. These are not all of them, but these are the ones I'm going to use today. So today's cash stuffing is a little bit different because I'm not stuffing all of my envelopes like I usually do. And you'll see when I flip through this what I mean by that. So I'll go ahead and put this aside and open up to, excuse me, let's do this page. So this was what, and I think in the past too, I showed you guys, I do a couple draft versions beforehand and whatnot. And I know that this had already changed, even, it changed this morning actually, before I even started trying to record the cash stuffing video for the second time, I should say. Because this morning, sorry, that's my dog playing with her toy in the background. This morning I had gone to the grocery store and I got some dog treats. So I knew I already spent from the dog one and I spent from groceries. So what I like to do is, I told you guys I made this up and added a couple columns because I do like to put what I currently have in my envelopes. And at the back of each envelope, I do have trackers, and I really do keep these up to date. I'm never really behind on these, so they're always pretty accurate. And so I'm always able to kind of quickly flip through this and write down the current total. So that is helpful for me because then I can see how much I want to add or how much I need to add or don't need to add. Eventually I'd like to have all of these goal boxes filled in. I think some of these are kind of lofty. I think the more I write them in, the more I'll realize like, yeah, that's too high, or, oh, I actually need more. But I don't really know what's appropriate yet, right? I'm only a couple months in. And so these are just kind of, I don't even know if they're achievable right now, but it's something that I, you know, like a week vacation, you know, getaway. And so we'll see how this goes, right? Like I said, a couple months in, but anyways, what I did here is kind of just map things out, and I like it because it's all on one page, right? And I can see for the most part everything. I keep telling you guys, I keep adding more envelopes. I don't know why. I'm an envelope person. I need to have one for everything. But then you can see in this one, what I have here is a smaller one, and you can see here I have the month on one page layout just in the front for all of my due dates and paydays and whatnot. And I like that my bills are spread out throughout the month, right? So nothing is due all in one week, all in the same week, all at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month. It's all spread out. And so that way, no matter if it's my second check or first check or second check, you know, of the month, or if there's, you know, overlap in between months and whatnot, it's manageable for me because it's chunked half and half in my mind. You know, one check goes for this and the other check goes for that. One check goes for this. And so that helps me kind of plan for life, essentially. Yeah, something to look forward to, you know, something, knowing when I save enough, I'll be able to do that in, you know, next paycheck or in 2 paychecks. So that is helpful for me that it's all spread out. So I have that at the beginning, and then I have a bunch of other stuff in here just from random months before. And then this is this month, and you can see that this is on multiple pages, right? But this is just something I can carry around with me and take with me to, you know, work or wherever, in my backpack or in a bigger purse. This I don't really carry around with me, obviously. So this I could just throw in with my planner or whatever, but you can see here that this is the one I did earlier today. And I redid the whole thing because I started right away. Guys, this was my first one, and I was like, all right, so let's put 45 into fitness. And then I was like, you guys, I only have 120 marked. Like, I already effed it up right at the beginning, and it was downhill from there, really, because this whole thing, I don't even know what I was doing when I don't know, guys. Anyways, so I started over, right? And so the denominations I have or had for this video don't necessarily or won't necessarily match what I'm going to stuff today, because I also decided because it was such a shit show earlier with all of this stuff, this is inaccurate. I did do challenges yesterday, and I stuffed $46 yesterday. And I know this is accurate, so I just copied that, but I kind of redid everything else in my budget, my cash breakdown. And so I don't know that is necessarily going to, I know it's not going to necessarily align with this. So whatever's left over, I'll split that across my wallet, because this isn't accurate. This old one will not be accurate based off this new one. So that's what I plan on doing for that, if that makes any sense. It was just a mess. Obviously, this is my first cash stuffing, and I have a lot of practice to do. And I will get the hang of recording this, because when I do this, I take my time. I write things down one by one. I set aside a big chunk of the day to like have fun and play at my desk area. And that's not, I mean, I can't have a 3-hour long video, right? And so let's go ahead and get started with the cash stuffing, and I'll kind of talk about whatever comes up along the way. Okay, so let's start with my personal binder. I'm actually going to put some of this stuff aside. Personal binder. Like I said, I stopped stuffing coffee, but I now have a new coffee challenge because, as I mentioned, I think it was Emso Budgets. I was watching her and she was like, but I like the seasonal drinks. So, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do too. Good idea. So I think I'm going to start stuffing this again, but not regularly, bi-weekly in here. I think I'm just going to use that challenge money to kind of collect and then add to it. Etsy planning, I already know I need to deduct from there. I'm not adding to any of these. This health one, I decided I was going to get rid of it. So I'll reallocate this money that's in here. It's $60. I'm going to reallocate that to something else, just because, like I said, I have that HSA and I find I'm using it for everything health related. That's what it's for. And so I determined that I do not need this right now. I don't know what the future holds. Hopefully nothing, but I do not need this envelope. So I'm going to put this one aside and reallocate that money. And then for fitness, I am going to add $45 because I pay $100 a month for personal training, or small group training, I should say. We work out of a trainer's garage, and so it's a small women's group who works out. She's amazing, and so it's $100 a month, and I usually go through one by one, and as I'm stuffing, I'll add, but I'm going to go ahead and save some time and do that after off camera. But you can see here, I just kind of put it in order from largest to smallest denomination, moving from the back to the front, and I'll document that. So let's see, we had 89, so now we have 50, 70, 90, 110, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 124. And that I usually pay the first of every month. I'll usually pay the 100. Social and entertainment, back to school, summer, I'm not going to add to those this round. So usually I add to all of them, guys. Usually it's like 5, 10, 15, but not this time. Okay. So let's see. So that was the only one for these couple binders here. You can see here, I added one for shoes. I haven't gotten a pair of shoes in a really long time, which I'm a bag person, a stationery person, a shoe person, a coat person, I don't even know. I like I said, I like to shop. But with this, I have not. So that's good. So, but I thought when I do get a new pair of sandals or shoes or whatever, I don't, if I have $150 in clothing and a pair of shoes is $100, I might as well just save for shoes and not take away from my clothing, because then I won't have any. I know money is money and it's all going to the same place, but I don't know. I just like to separate things, I guess. And then this is a lofty one, obviously. I didn't even add to it, obviously, but remodel, that's going to be a big one. I'm not going to remodel anything anytime soon, but I figured, hey, might as well start putting or collecting money a little bit. Maybe one day I'll do the flooring, or, you know, we do the half bath or something like that. So added that one. And then I don't know if this is where I started to go wrong last time, but this is the new updated sheet. So I will be working off of that one. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, go to the right binder. And this is the professional binder. So professional dues, I actually just paid my dues. They were $274. So I have 16 in here now. I'm going to add 16 more. And so these are due every summer. So I have another full year to save for this, again, for another round of close to $300. 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 1, 2. Just because, yeah, that just got deducted. Also with professional dues, the same time my my insurance, my annual professional liability insurance policy is due. And because I started this cash stuffing process late, like obviously I have not been putting in here for an entire year. I've only been putting in since March, or the end of March or April, beginning of April. And so I just renewed for $212, and I have IOU because all I had was $200 in here. And so for this round, I'm going to put in 30. I'm going to keep the IOU in there just so I remember like why I put 30 this month when I transfer my notes to the next month. Because I think usually I would only put 15 or 16 actually, but I just want to break even and say that I'm not in debt in one envelope already. So even for that one, good to go for that. Tax prep, this hit me hard last year, so I really do want to be collecting for this one regularly. Right now I have $227. I was taken aback last year to when I had to write that check for my taxes to be done. So I am going to add 42 to that. I don't know why I put the money back in there. I'm going to add a 42 to that one. 40, 1, 2. $50, $150, $170, $190, $210, $230, $50, $60, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9. So hopefully that'll be much better for me this year. Even if I do have to pay a little bit more than what I have put away, at least it's not as hard of a hit, because last year I was like, ooh, I need to write a check for this. Make sure the money is in there. I couldn't use a card, so I just want to be prepared for that. So that'll be good for me. I'm not adding to any of these guys. Registration, I just paid that as well. I am going to be adding 7 to this. Let's see, 340 right now. It's $155 a year, so I just put 160. Will be 10, 20, 30, 5, 40. What? 10, 20, 30, 40, 5, 6, 7. So that one I might just get done early and be done with it, but that'll go pretty quick. I feel like $7 a check is not bad. Vehicle maintenance, will not be adding to that. iPass, that's my toll road. I will not be adding to that. And gas, I will be. I feel like I've been spending a lot in gas lately, but I haven't been going anywhere. So I don't know where the money's going or where the gas is going, but it is what it is, I guess, because it's gone. Let me see. Gas is 70. 50, 70, 90, 100, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, what did I forget this 20? Oh my gosh. 50, 70, 90, 110, 20, 30, 137. Should be good to go. I don't spend that much, but there are some weeks where I find myself filling up 1.5 times instead of just one. So that'll be helpful. Can't ever have too much gas money. All right, so that's gas. Next is more extra and personal stuff, I guess, if you want to call it. I tried to reorganize my binders. I'm trying to figure out where I want things to go. Cloth and paper is going to get 12. And this is, I want to say it, every 6 months the subscription gets taken out. I have $148 in there now. 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. 160. Hi, Boomer. Hi, Boomer. 1 second, guys. I'm back. I had to get them their food, or else they would be bugging me the entire time. You might hear them in the background jingling around, but let's see here. Online subscription. So this is my annual Amazon. I get Reader's Digest for my grandma as well, so that is included in here just because I can't remember if that's every 6 months or every 12 months, but I included that in this as well, but I am not or actually I am. I'm putting $10 in for that. So 200, 250, 70, 90, 5, 6, 7, 8, 28 plus 10. Sorry, you can hear them chomping in the background. Oh, that's it for this one, I believe. Actually, no, I lied. So it's my travel one. I did just find out my friends just announced that they were going to get married in California next year for a destination wedding. So I just started putting aside for that. And my niece's 21st in Nashville, we just found out we are for sure going to do that. I did just buy my flight with points, so I got lucky on that one. And then I'm going to put 43 in here. 43 because that was what was left over when I budgeted, but at $43 is going to get me nowhere in Nashville, but it's something. But I'm going to keep putting money in here as I get it and just stuff as much as I can because Nashville has gotten expensive. And I just want to be prepared because I don't want to walk away having so much fun, having had so much fun, but also being, you know, in a massive IOU for this envelope because I don't want that to happen. That's what this whole process is for, right? To avoid that whole situation. So hopefully that won't be the case, but I'll be able to put some extra in there in the next couple checks, hopefully. All right, and then to move on to the business one, this is my new soft binder from the Millennial Dollar. My new dashboard from the RAEmarkable Dollar. And let's see, for ALottaBitOfItAll, I'm going to add 25. So this will help me with supplies and stuff when I start getting orders in my shop. Printing, well, I do have printing and stuff like that, but I guess I'll separate that later on. 2, 4, 6, 75, 85, 6, 7, 8, 9. A bit of it all, and I was going to put 15 in LLC paperwork. Like I said, each of these envelopes has its own personal, its own assigned tracker, I should say, and so I don't even have anything written on here because I don't have anything added yet, but I will following the video. I usually put what it's for down here, and then I keep track, and like I said, I usually really kind of stay on top of those just so I know what I have at all times. But yeah, so that's that. On to the next page. Boomer, oh Boomer, Booty hit me hard this week, last week. He had a $320 vet appointment that I was not expecting. He's my old guy, right? So he's 15, or not 15, oh my goodness. He's 13, he just turned 13 in May. He's got arthritis. So he gets a monthly shot. So I usually pay $125 for the shot and his tech visit. But this time when I took him for his appointment, I wanted him to see the doc because I feel like I just want to make him comfortable. I don't want him in pain all day, and I want him to be just chilling and be able to walk whenever he wants to walk and get up whenever he wants to get up, right? And so I was asking about pain meds, and then he had a double ear infection. So anyway, $321 or $320 later, I need to replenish that. And so usually their food is around $80 a bag a month, so I like to put aside for 2 bags a month. But because I owe the Boomer and Lola envelope a lot, I'm gonna do $170 this time, and then probably 150, 160 next time. So you can see nothing is in there. Oh, boomer. Boomer, boomer. I'm gonna move this off to the side again so I can center this. Cell phone, and this is where I messed up last time too, because I was like, oh, cell phone, it says 17. Wait, why does it say 17? Because I usually stuff 34 because, well, I have 34, 35 because I have $1. I always usually have a few dollars left over, and my bill is $71 a month. So why do I only have 17? And I think I skipped a line or something. Really, I owe 34 for this one and owe 17 for the next one. So I don't know. I don't know if I was sleepwalking or what when I did that other one, because it was really messed up. 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4 for a total of 35 in here so far. Car wash. This is my subscription. What I don't really need it over the summer, but what I do need it for is the winter. So I live in Illinois in the Chicago suburbs, and I mean, the winters are obviously very salty and messes with your car and the salt and the rust and all this and that. And so I do like to go and rinse off my car after it snows or after it gets nasty and the salt is all over the car. So that's why I keep this subscription, but I also like it to get all the gunk and bugs off and stuff in the summer. So I'll keep that one going. It is 17, 10, 15, 16, 17. TV subscriptions, that is going to be Netflix, Hulu. That's going to get 26. Which I feel like I'm half a month ahead on some of these, which is awesome, because if I can keep adding a little extra here and there, I might get a full month ahead, and that would be really exciting. 50, 70, 90, 100, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I don't, did I already go through that I don't have a month ahead binder, but I eventually want one. I just have a month ahead envelope for now. Personal subscriptions, that's gonna be my Kindle, my Apple Family, what else, like my FICO to monitor my credit. Personal subscriptions, that is 40. 2, 4, 6, 75, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lied. 99. Professional subscriptions is 0 right now, so I'm going to add 20 in there. Kiss is my local med spa that I love to go to. This one is like my self-care, and so this one I am going to try and hang on to till last. I got rid of my Massage Envy, my massage subscription, just because I would rather have this one than that one, right? Preventative, right? For aging and whatnot. So that one is going to get 125. This one is, this one's fun. They have, you know, laser hair removal, laser treatments, Botox, facials, hydrofacials. They have it all. And they, you know, their skin products and all of that fun stuff. And so when I pay this every month, it's like they have their own envelope for us there. So what I pay into it, I get back minus, also, or in addition to a 15% discount on any packages or treatments or beauty supply, skincare, anything like that. So it's cash directly going to, it's dollar for dollar essentially. That is 1, 2, 20, 40, 250. And now let's see. Insurance. Okay, now everyone can complain about this one because this one is ridiculous. 50, 70, 90, 110, 120, 5, 126. So expensive. See, and so this is not due until the second half of the month. And so this is the full, I pay $122 a month, so I have $126. So I'm going to be adding, well, let's see, 61. So I'll be half a month ahead, which will be good. Maybe I'll add a 50. And you guys, I was so excited yesterday because if you didn't see my other videos, look at these 10s. They gave me all brand new 10s yesterday. I was so excited. And usually I put my crispy bills aside, I started to at least, for savings challenges, and I would reallocate money or move funds around just so I could account for that $10 that I took out of the original budget to put into a savings challenge. But like, there were just so many, there was no way I was going to do that. So what I think I'm going to do is know that they're all in here spread out, and I can refer back to this date that I was stuffing to see where I stuffed it, and switch them out every once in a while to add them somehow to my savings challenge, because they're so nice. I don't remember where it's at. 126 plus 61. 100, 20, 40, 60, 70, 85, 67. Sorry if you hear Boomer in the background drinking his water. Boo! Boomer! Let's see, internet is gonna get 55. So 50, 150, 60, 71. And that is also about a half a month ahead as well. So making some progress toward a month ahead in some of these. So eventually, hopefully, like I said, I want to get a binder, but we're not quite there yet. Lawn care is going to get 20. This one I put aside 90 a month just because what they do is they come every summer, right? For the weeds and all of that. And so I never really know when they're going to show up because it's a package. So I just like to spread it out over the summer. So it's about $90 a month. Let's see, 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 95, 202. Is that right? Yeah. So that is actually a full month ahead. And utilities, like I said, I'm gonna give this a shot, guys. I'm gonna try. Like I said, they're automatically deducted, and I know I just put a chunk in there. I leave a chunk in there for the utilities specifically, but I know a lot of people have envelopes for these, so I want to give it a shot just to see if it is helpful at all. If not, if it's more of a hassle for me to track, I might just do away with it again, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right, so that is the bills binder. And finally, for the challenges. Right, so I have 2 challenges in this one and then a monthly one here. So for 52 Fridays, we'll go to June. I am going to do 7 and 21. One second, I have Boomer over here breathing in my ear again. Boomer. All right, and I am back. So for June, sorry about that, guys. So for June, for 52 Fridays, we're gonna do 7 and 21. And this is all out of order just because it's May and June combined. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just know that it's marked because, like I said, I am going to, condense, but actually take this back to the bank because I do want to add it to a high yield savings account. So here is 7 and here is 21. So I'm just going to add it to the back of here, and I think for a different video, I will add all that together for you guys and show you what's going back to the bank. All right, so that's for the 52 Fridays. And then for the 100 envelopes, I decided I wanted to just do this card. So what I've been doing is every once in a while, I will do a high denomination. Well, I guess I lied. So the highest I've done is only 100 and then to 50. And then every once in a while, I'll just do random uppers just so I won't be stuck with all of these high ones at the end. I've been kind of tight recently only because a couple things have popped up, but this is going pretty well. I'm not on any timeline or rush to complete this challenge, but yeah, I just wanted to break it up. There's no rhyme or reason in terms of the order or anything like that, but like I said, so I'm going to do 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. So this is, and I'll fill these in nicely later, but this is 10, 19, 26, 32, 37, 41, 42. And add 42 to the pile. And this envelope is going to be so skinny again when I unstuff it and take it back to the bank. Look at it now. That's awesome. I love it when my binders are like this. It makes me feel accomplished, you know? I've never had this much money on hand ever in my life. All right, and then for the monthly, I am at, we're in June, I'm going to put 60 toward that one. So let's take this cash out, mark 60. So we have 50, 90, 100 in this one so far. Oh my gosh. So I have high denominations left. I have a 70 and 80 left. Good. Why did I do that to myself? All right, guys, so that's that. Here's all my binders that I stuffed this month. I feel as though I neglected my other ones. My home one, my gifts one, my beauty one. I also just got this one from not Remarkable Dollar, from the Aesthetic Dollar too. I think this might be my monthly one eventually. It's such a pretty color. It's really close to this ash color that I got, but it's a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can see, but it's so pretty. And remember, if you watched my Aesthetic Dollar unstuffing, I talked about my favorite binder, which is this dark green, and how it's been out of stock. I really wanted the wallet, but that one sold out really quickly. And after the video, she announced that she has restocked them. I just don't know when they're going to go on sale yet, but how awesome is that? But yeah, so I will be, oopsies, I'll be putting this money in my wallet. It's not, there's quite a handful of tens, but it's not going to be exactly what I budgeted for originally. But like I said, I really don't know what happened. Hopefully that won't ever happen to me again, because it's not been happening, but I was really thrown off by that. But this is going to go into my wallet, and I will see you guys soon for my, we'll say condensing and unstuffing. Not so much unstuffing week to week, but more unstuffing like to the bank. So that'll be coming soon. I hope you guys didn't get as frustrated as I did with this video. The first couple ones were kind of comical though, not gonna lie. I rewatched the full one. That I actually recorded the entire thing. I didn't even quit. Usually I'm a quitter and I'm like, no, wait, let me start over. No, I don't like this, or I'm done. But I remember I used to do that at the lot. We had a cousin's lot when we were younger, and we'd always go play baseball, and I'd be like, I quit, I'm done, I don't want to play anymore. And they would always be like, oh, come on. And so the game would always end because they would lose a player and the teams wouldn't be equal anymore. But I was like, man, I don't want to play anymore. So I feel like I usually do that with this stuff. Like, just let me start over. I don't want to do this anymore. Let me take a break. But anyways, I went through the whole thing, and it was actually pretty funny. But I realized it kind of put me in a funky mood too. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. But anyways, all is well in the world. Well, in my world, I know it's not well in the world right now, which is heartbreaking, but yeah, be thankful for what we've got, right? And so yeah, we will continue on. We will march on and get through this a little later after this video, and then I will see you guys soon for this unstuffing and back to the bank. All right, take care. Bye.